This video will go over the basics of blanks in FUDSChem. We will discuss how to set up the rules that govern the ADR's behavior towards blanks and how to add blanks for field data. The ADR's behavior for blanks is determined by the flagging setup. Go to Reports, Environmental Setup Reports, Flagging Setup. Fill out the drop-downs and click View Report. This report shows the flagging rules to be used by the ADR, such as DoD guidelines or National Functional Guidelines. It has 5 main sections, including blank contaminant rules for action level and blank QC elements with missing control limits. The blank contaminant rules for action level section shows the multiplier for common laboratory contaminants. This multiplier will be used to determine when contamination with these compounds is significant enough to trigger flagging. Usually, these are between 1 and 10 for the contaminants listed. Multipliers listed in this section are populated based on the validation guidelines selected in the blank evaluation validation reference section. The blank QC elements with missing control limits section will display analytes for which a blank QC element exists, but for which there is no blank criterion in the EQAP. In this case, you should work with your team to add blank criteria to the EQAP or remove the QC element if it is not needed. To adjust how the ADR handles flagging blanks, go to Tools, Data, EQAP Setup. For detailed information on the EQAP, please refer to our EQAP Tutorials playlist, linked in the description. The QC Elements tab lists the QCs expected for each method, and defines the qualifiers that the ADR will apply for those elements. We can see these blanks will apply a J flag to detects in the upper range. We can see that for this project, an issue with the lab blank, BLKL, would result in the whole batch being qualified. The other blanks with no rule listed will default to the rules in the flagging setup report and have no special behavior. We could make adjustments to this tab and update flags as needed. The Analyte Criteria tab is where we will find the criteria for applying the flags. We'll choose a method. In the QC element column, we can type BLK to only show blanks. As we can see by these zeros, blanks are expected to have no analyte detected. Therefore, as soon as a detect is reported in the blank, the flags will be applied. For broader information on FUDSChem's ADR, please refer to our How Does ADR Work videos, linked in the description. Next, let's discuss how blanks come into play during the sampling event. Before the team goes out to the field for sampling, they are encouraged to plan their event using FUDSChem's event management tools. Everything that is planned here carries forward and can be used to create a chain of custody. For more information, please refer to our Event Management and Field Data ChemField Tutorials playlist, linked in the description. Event management has already been completed for our example. Note that we do not recommend planning field blanks such as trip blanks, ambient blanks, and equipment blanks in event management. The details on blanks are less likely to be known in advance. Waiting to enter them within the digitized COC, the ChemField file, will allow us to use FUDSChem's tools to link field blanks with specific samples. To do this, go to Tools, Data Submission. Choose the project and event. Choose Field Sampling, ChemField as the data type, and click Create a File. Select all of the locations that you want to include in your chain of custody and move them over using the arrow. Next, we'll go to the Test Methods tab. In this case, it is already filled out based on event management. Next, go to the Add Field Data tab. The information that we entered in Event Management automatically shows up here. To add a blank, select the samples that the blank will qualify, in this case, all of them. Click the Add Field QC button. Enter the date and time for the blank. Select the type of blank, in this case, trip blank. Next, we will enter the sample ID. Note that all field samples and field QCs must have unique names. We'll follow the best practice and name our trip blank TB-1_2Q2026. Including a number and timeframe indicator will ensure it is unique. For more information, please refer to our Best Practices Naming Conventions video, linked in the description. Finally, highlight the analyses that will be run on the blank, and click Insert Field QC Record. The trip blank will appear as a separate row, and the TB lot column will automatically populate to link it to the corresponding samples. Similarly, ambient blanks will populate the AB lot field, and equipment blanks will populate the EB lot field. Note that the lot number for the blank is not populated because it cannot qualify itself. Based on these associations, the ADR will appropriately apply qualifiers to the samples associated with each blank. Once lab data is submitted and processed by the ADR, we can go to Reports, Data Validation and Submission Reports, Blank Evaluations to view the data for our blanks. Fill out the drop-downs and click View Report. This report shows the blank results. Detections are in bold. Back in our main window, under Reports, Data Validation and Submission Reports, we can also choose Field Blank Associated Results. Fill out the drop-downs and click View Report. In this report, we can see which field blanks are associated with which samples. The ADR will automatically qualify samples based on the blanks as applicable. Under Tools, Data, Sample Qualification, the validator can adjust qualifiers if needed. The reason code column will indicate whether a flag has been applied due to blank contamination. To look up available reason codes, go to Reports, Data Validation and Submission Reports, Data Qualifier Reason Code Definitions. This report shows the codes used for different reasons for qualification. For example, a sample qualified due to an issue with the ambient blank would use the reason code A1. Don't forget to subscribe to the FUDSChem YouTube channel for more tutorial videos. All of the tutorials and playlists mentioned during this video are linked in the description below. Lastly, if you have questions or comments, feel free to contact us at fuds.support@synaptics.net. Thank you.